Well, good morning and happy Easter. So I know you're watching this after Easter. Unfortunately, I had planned on doing this video last weekend, but it didn't get done. So I'm getting it done this weekend. Today is Easter, so it's Easter Sunday. And I hope you guys had a wonderful Easter and remembered the reason you were celebrating. And it's not the Easter Bunny, guys. So today, though, we're going to do a little something fun. We're out here back at the traditional camp. And today we are going to try to smoke a ham on the tripod with a canvas wrap. And we'll see if we can make that work. Let's get it. It was kind of chilly this morning here, so we woke up this morning. It was like 50 something degrees, 54 degrees or something. And I know that's not that cold, but it has rained on and off for the past 2 days. And that dampness, it gets in your bones and it makes it feel cold. So this little fire is feeling good this morning. But if you'll remember, the last time we did that bushcraft video out here at the camp, we talked about making a smoker out of that tripod that we made. And I've been kind of thinking about that on and off. And I haven't really nailed down exactly how it's going to work yet, but I got a good idea. I cut a piece of canvas down to be able to make sort of a teepee around that, and we're going to try that out today and see if we can make it work. Plus, we're going to try some different meat church seasoning. I'm really enjoying those seasonings. So today we have something called honey hog seasoning, and I've tasted it already and it tastes awesome. I think it's going to work out good on this ham. So we're going to get this tripod set up, kind of get that thing testing out, make sure it's going to work how we want it to. We got to truss up that ham to make sure we can hang it safely. And we got to let this wood burn down to some good coals because we don't want a lot of heat. We just want a lot of smoke. So that's what we're going to work on now. I'm going to grab that tripod and we'll get that thing set up. It'd be a shame to waste such a good fire and not get some coffee out of the deal, wouldn't it? So I've got the tripod here. I have got this canvas here. So I cut this canvas in such a way that we should be able to make basically a teepee shape around this tripod. And what we'll do is we'll truss up that ham and hang the ham in the center here and let this teepee canvas go around it and kind of gather up the smoke. This ham is already cooked, so all we're really trying to do is impart some different flavors and get it a little more smoky and add that rub on top of it. So it really doesn't have to be super hot. We just need to get it to smoke some more and get that flavor to stick to it. So this shouldn't be a super long process. We can throw it in the oven and warm it up in the oven just like you would normally do. But I wanted to add some other flavors to it, so that's what we're doing out here today. Plus, I think it'll be kind of nice day out here to just hang out around the fire, hang out in the traditional shelter, and just have a good time. So let's get this wrapped up and see if we can actually make this thing work. Okay, so the idea is to wrap this thing around here to actually hold the smoke in. So what I thought was, if I could get one side to just kind of hold itself in place, maybe just wrapping this around it just a little bit. And I did cut a half circle at the top, and the bottom is kind of a half circle type skirt. So, and I'm not 100% sure this is going to work, so we're testing this out together. I know it's going to take some work to get this thing to set just right. that. Around like that. Now, something like that might work. We've got to figure out how to make this top stay, but that might actually do what I want it to do. So it doesn't have to be super fancy, it just has to work. So in all reality, it probably is not going to make any difference at all whether or not we pin this or what we do, because it's wrapped all the way around. But just for sake of doing it, I'm going to go ahead and make a little pin out of some of this wild cherry. Just something to kind of hold it in place so the wind doesn't blow it off into the coals. Now there won't be a raging fire under this. That's what we're going to keep the fire over there and pack coals under this. So because this is canvas, it would go up pretty fast. Now I could soak this canvas in water, which would make it hold the smoke in a little better, but I didn't do that this morning. If it looks like we need to do that in the future, maybe we'll try that and just see how it works. But right now I'm going to make a little pin just to be able to pin this down and kind of keep it held together pretty easy. So that's the idea anyway. So what I'm literally going to do is I'm just going to stab through here, something like that, and then I'm just going to more or less stab it through there, and that will kind of keep the wind from being able to just easily blow it off. Now I could double it up, but that's going to be a lot more work than necessary, honestly, but we'll do it for sake of argument. A little pin like that, plumb simple. So that should work, and now we got to get our ham ready. Alright, so what I got here is a 6-pound ham we got from Publix. I'm gonna get this thing opened up, and then we've got some string that we're gonna use to truss it up with. Now this is a bone-in ham. We're going to take the little plastic cover off of it. Get out of here, ladybug. Shouldn't have put that away. I'm fixing to need it. Now, I got some string that's been sitting out here. We're not going to worry about it. It'll give some added flavor. Now we'll take some of this outside off. That'll be good. Just ball that up, save that for another time. Don't want to waste cordage. Never know what we might need it for. Alright, so I'm going to just grab some of this string off of here, and we're going to double it up because I want to keep my ham out of the fire. Of course, it'll just be coals, but you get my meaning. Alright, now I'm going to turn this ham over and try to get this plastic out of here. Run this through here like that. Try to get it up top. Then let's try this. By George, that might hold it. I like it. Alright, so now we need to get this thing seasoned up. Alright, before we do that, I'm going to slide that ham to the side just a little bit, because I think we got some hot water for coffee. Oh yeah. Get that coffee mixed up a little bit. Then we're going to set that off to the side, let it cool for just a minute. Be smart. Alright. I'm ready for that too, so it'll be ready in just a minute. Alright. For seasoning, I got the Meat Church Honey Hog Barbecue. And that's going to be really good. But we need something to make this stick. So I decided today we would do some Mike's Hot Honey over the top of this thing. We'll put the Meat Church seasoning on it, and then later we're going to make a honey bourbon glaze to go on top of it right when it's almost done. So I think that's going to be pretty good. So the first thing we're going to do is make a mess with this honey, then we'll get that seasoning on there. If you haven't tried this hot honey, it is delicious. Now, it's not cheap, but it is delicious. I'm not gonna put a ton on here, but I am gonna have to get my hands in it. Get a little messy. Alright, so next up, we're going to add our honey hog. We're going to just go pretty liberal on this because we want that outside coated. And obviously you're not getting the seasoning down inside, but around that outside edge, we want it coated good. It's going to look good, it's going to taste good. So, get this outside coated real good. Then I'm going to flip it over and get some on the bottom. That honey has got a can't remember what's in it. It's hot honey, so it is infused with chilies. I know one thing, it's delicious. Alright, now I'm going to flip this thing over and get some honey on the bottom of it. And we're going to get some seasoning on there, and we'll be ready to go on the smoke. I think we'll wrap it up, let her smoke. Okay, so we are definitely smoking here. The smoker box is working fine, and it is gathering some smoke up in there, but it's windy out here, and my canvas is a little bit high. Now, I've stretched out my legs on there to get it a little lower, but with it windy, it's kind of blowing the smoke out from under it, so I'm going to have to come up with an option to try to hold some more of that smoke in there. So I've got an idea. Let's go see if we can find the stuff to make it work. Alright, so we are using palmetto fronds to help hold the smoke in. And if you watched last week's video, you'll realize that this is just another use for palmetto fronds. So this should work. This should work pretty good. It's actually going to keep some of the wind out of there and let that smoke kind of trap and rise up. And so now I think we're just going to let this thing smoke for a little while, and then in just a few minutes we'll kind of get back in there and baste this thing. So I've got some of my Evan Williams. We're going to mix some honey in it, and then we're also going to mix some of that honey hog seasoning in there, and we'll start basting this thing here in a little while. So I think it's going to be pretty good. Now we just let it cook. So in last week's video, one of the comments pointed out that I did not mention the danger of getting cut by one of these palmetto fronds. Now, the ones that I have out here, the dwarf palmettos, these do not have the saws on them. That's a saw palmetto. But these things are super sharp on the edges. So if you do go and gather the monkey fur, be careful. The edges of this stuff will cut you. The saw palmetto is very sharp, and then these dwarf palmettos are really sharp too. What I'm going to do today, this is going to take a little while to cook, and I'm hungry, so I've got a sausage I'm going to cook, but I'm actually just shaving down the outside of this thing to make some skewers with. And so I'm taking that sharp edge off of there, and I'm going to just make me a couple skewers to go over the fire, so I can cook me a sausage while this ham sits over here and smokes. So something simple like that. I'm going to do 2 of them. Alright, so what I got is this piece of sausage here. I'm just going to skewer this thing like that. Skewer it. Could have sharpened that one up a little more. Like that. I'll just poke this thing in the ground kind of in an X shape and let it cook. Actually, I've got my little trivet here. I'm gonna just set my trivet over top of this thing, and I'll use this kind of as a little grill. Now, I know that I've told you guys stories before about my pop and how he loved to cook outside and be outside, and that's kind of where I got it from. But I'll tell you a little story. One time, I think it was Christmas time if I'm not mistaken, but Pop decided that he wanted to cook the whole Christmas dinner outside. And we got a clean 55-gallon drum and took concrete blocks and laid those concrete blocks out on the side so the drum would set inside those blocks. And Pop got out there and built him a big fire and shoveled those coals under that drum, and he put a rack inside that drum, and he baked the cornbread in that drum, he baked the turkey in that drum, and then I think we took the drum off and he roasted a ham over that fire. And all outside right there, literally, we used to do it. It was a tradition. We would cook all night long. And I remember that it was just so much fun. But he would take that ham and he'd roast it over the fire, and he would baste that with whiskey and brown sugar and pineapple juice. And I mean, it would be so good. The outside would be just sticky and just so good. And then on top of that, he would take pineapples and cherries and toothpicks and pin those things all over the outside of that ham. It looked awesome. It was delicious. And just doing this outside here reminds me of Pop and doing those things. And he loved doing it, and I love doing it. That's where I got it from. So I know some of you really love to hear those stories, and that's just one of those Pop stories that I love to remember. It's one of those times that me and him just spent time together outside cooking, and I definitely miss those times, but I'm really thankful that we had those times also. So alright guys, so I think our sausage is about done. I'm ready to eat too. Got it off the fire. See how it looks. Whew, hot. Yeah. It's hard to beat that nettle sausage right there off the smoky fire. Delicious. Look at that. Crispy edge. Really good. Well, that was good sausage, but I think it's time for us to mix up some basting to get on this ham. It's been smoking here for a little while, so definitely don't want it to dry out. So we're gonna mix up a little basting, some basting liquid. That's what we're gonna do anyway. We're gonna mix up something to baste the ham with. Now, I've got my cup here. It's got some ashes in it. I have some of my Evan Williams. So I'm gonna mix up some of my Evan Williams. Not gonna waste too much of it. That's too early. But I'm gonna take some of this. I'm gonna get it on the fire and I'm gonna just warm it up. It doesn't need to boil, but I'm gonna get it pretty warm so the honey will actually dissolve in it. And then we'll add some of that honey hog seasoning to it and get to basting. All right, our whiskey is good and warm now. I'm going to add, while it's good and warm, I'm going to add some more of this Mike's Hot Honey. Good amount. Stir that up, start getting that mixed in good. Kind of got to taste it, right? Make sure it's what I want it to be. That's pretty good. I think I need to add a little more honey to it. And then we're going to add some of this honey hog to it. Yeah, much better. Now that Mike's Hot Honey definitely has some kick to it. So just keep that in mind. So now we're going to add some of this Meat Church Honey Hog Barbecue to it. We're not trying to make a paste out of it. We're just trying to get a good bit of it mixed in here. Oh, man, that is good. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's going to be really good. So now we're going to baste that ham. All right. So the first thing we got to do is take our palmetto fronds out of the way. And it's funny, this thing has shrunk up since I put it on there. And I kind of knew that would. So when we go back on it, we will lower it down a little more again. Get that wrapped up out of the way. Out there, a little pin. All right. That ham is looking pretty good. Let's baste this thing. I think I'm going to do another douse of honey hog on top of it. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Now, I think that I need to raise this up a little more to get that ham up inside here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my ham and I'm going to roll this thing over. Get this thing up there. Just as simple as that. And that gets my ham up a little bit right inside. And I think that's going to work a little better. We're going to get some more of the wood chips inside the smoker box. Get the fire built back up under here. Get her back rolling. Alright, so I figured I might as well answer a couple questions before they happen. So, the seasoning, Meat Church Seasonings. I am not affiliated by these people. I'm not sponsored by these people. I just love the YouTube channel. So I tried the seasoning and they are awesome. So far I've tried the Holy Voodoo. I've tried, I think the other one's the Gospel. And then now I've tried the Honey Hog. So I haven't found one yet that I don't like. And I would suggest if you're interested in that kind of stuff, try them out. I found these at Lowe's. They're like 10 bucks a piece and they are really, really good. So not affiliated, not sponsored by them. The other thing that I know is going to come up, so I know I'm going to get asked about my flint and steel kit. So my flint and steel kit here, really cool little kit, was made for me by my buddy Ian, Pine Ridge Forge and Tool. Same guy that made my knife. And really, really nice little set. Now, I added a couple of extra pieces in here. And they're a little too big for my kit, to be honest with you. But they work out really good. Nice little kit. As you can see, I've used it. It's all rusted up and scratched up. But it comes with some char cloth in it. It comes with a piece of flint or chert in it. And that little piece of steel. So, I will leave a link in the description. They have an Instagram and they have a website. So if you're interested in these, I highly, highly suggest getting one of these if you're into the more traditional type skills. Really, really nice piece of kit here. So right now, we are just kind of in a holding pattern. It's a waiting game now, so we are waiting for this thing to finish smoking. I may one more time open that thing up and baste it, but you've seen it before. You don't necessarily need to see it again. So right now, we're just going to let this thing smoke for a while, and we'll pull it off of there and see what it tastes like. You smell that ham? This thing is really starting to smell good. You can really start to smell it now. So, little Skipper here, he's I can see him walking around sniffing. So, I think we're getting pretty close. Like I said, I didn't really need to cook this thing. It was already pre-smoked. Just kind of wanted to impart some new flavors and add sort of that honey bourbon, hot honey bourbon flavor to it. So I think it's going to be really good. I think we're just about ready to pull this thing off of here. Oh man, we are starting to look really good. Yeah, buddy. Alright, I think we're pretty much where we need to be. I think this thing is gonna work out pretty good today. Now that is a pretty good looking ham, I think. Alright, I'm gonna cut these strings off of here and we'll take a little taste of this thing. So it turned out really good looking. I like the way it looks. It has that sticky crust on the outside of it like I wanted. Let's cut a little slice off of it and see what it tastes like. See what it tastes like. There we go. That looks good. Oh yeah. That is really, really good. You do get a little of that bourbon flavor in there, but that hot honey is up front. You Can definitely taste that hot honey. Man, that's really good. I would highly suggest, if you do a ham, if you enjoy smoking a ham, try it this way. I think you'll really like it. All right, guys. It's hard to stop. This ham turned out awesome. It actually surpassed what I was hoping it was going to be. It's super, super tasty. If you enjoyed this video, give it that big thumbs up for me. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down there. Ring that notification bell so you get notified next time we put out a video. And let me know. Leave me a comment below. Do you like to cook outside? Have you ever smoked a ham like this? I highly suggest trying the meat church seasonings. And that hot honey is absolutely delicious. So give those things a try. And appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you next week. Boy, that is some good ham. So we're going over to some families tonight. That is some good ham. So we're going over to Sarah's families tonight. I don't know why I can't say that. Now, that is some good ham. We're going over... I don't know why I can't say it.